Whoops.
Welcome to DAOists. The purpose of this recording is for educational and entertainment purposes only. None of this is financial advice.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the DAOists live stream. And today we have two really amazing guests here. But first, let me tell you a little bit about what DAOists is. DAOists is enabling a new age of work that serves to better humanity. DAOists is a DAO for DAOs. It's a meta DAO for the emerging metaverse. So basically, you can go to DAOist.xyz and you can learn and have tons of resources at your disposal to be able to learn all about DAOs, learn all about Web3, learn about the entire ecosystem and how you can transition your business or yourself or your job or your life, whatever you want, into the DAO space. And speaking of DAOs, today we have Griff and Lauren here from Giveth.io, and they are basically reinventing donation and bringing the DAO space to the donation space. They are basically they're giving good people a platform to be rewarded for good work in a frictionless and transparent way. Did I say that okay?
Nailed it.
All right. So yeah, so Giveth is a donation platform that allows people to donate crypto in using blockchain, and it's 100% transparent and 100% open source. So I guess one of you can start, and you can start just give me a basic rundown on just on your history and how you got started with Giveth, and then we can start going into some of the Giveth fundamentals.
Sure, I can probably best do the Giveth history stuff because we started Giveth from the White Hat group. So this is like, Giveth is a super OG project in the Ethereum space. Actually emerged out of the DAO, which probably most people don't even know what the DAO is, but the DAO was the original DAO on Ethereum that that got hacked for $50 million. And well, it raised $150 million. And at that time, that was 14% of all Ether in existence, and then was hacked for 4% of all Ether in existence. I was on Bankless a while back, and gave the whole DAO story if you want to hear it there. But the DAO was my first project in Ethereum. Oops. And so I helped lead this the White Hat group to rescue the DAO funds, and also pushed for the hard fork in Ethereum and all of that jazz. So that's why there is Ether Classic, and there's a huge piece of Ethereum history. And the White Hat group, me, Jordi Bellina, and a few other Anons started Giveth out of the ashes of the DAO. And the goal was to really take all the lessons that we learned from the DAO and apply it to create a new world where people who are doing good work, who are creating public goods for society, can actually be rewarded for that work, as opposed to what we have now, where it's like, hey, we're doing stuff and we have to beg for donations, or we need government funding. And we knew this was possible with the DAO, and it was just, how do we bring that into meat space? And that's always been the challenge with Giveth, is how do we take this DAO world where you can almost create a game that allows people to earn points, score points for doing work in the DAO, right? How do we take this methodology and apply it to regular nonprofit work, which in the end we actually also hope can scale to government services and replacing the need for governments in the end, which that's like the big, bold, like 100-year vision, right? And so I helped found Giveth, and we've had a tumultuous history of almost running out of money, having to get shut down a couple times. We helped rescue funds from the Parity multisig hack in 2017, where we rescued $210 million from multisigs that were vulnerable. And we were working on Ethereum scaling in 2017, 2018. We run the Rinkeby network. We help, we're validated on the Rinkeby network and have for a long time. We helped start XDAI. I mean, Giveth is like a huge piece of Ethereum culture and Ethereum, good deeds. It's not like hard in the DeFi space, although that's changing now. And maybe I can let Lauren talk about like how she got into Giveth and the whole space in general.
Sure, yeah. So, well, I mean, I got into Giveth somewhat unconventionally. I met a Givither named Danny, and she was a longtime Giveth unicorn, and I met her at a permaculture farm, and she pulled me in, and I was really attracted to Giveth because of the value alignment. Like I've always been technically minded, but also kind of a hippie, just always interested in how can we do good for the earth? How can we take care of each other? And so Giveth was like the great combination of all the technical things I'm interested in and like new technology, blockchain, Web3, and all these things that a year ago I was just getting my feet barely wet in, and also all of the values and just like the heart-centeredness of like, how can we give back to people who give, and how can we like create like systems and cycles where the people that are giving are also getting more so they can keep giving, and then giving actually just becomes this like universal abundance thing. And so I can go like really like slippery into the hippie side of things, because that's really how I came into Giveth. But I'm really excited about the give economy that we're launching and all of the future plans that we have coming. I'm like really excited to talk about that, because I think it's just revolutionary stuff. I think transforming the world of philanthropy into a world where people who are like on the ground doing good work are actually getting rewarded and being supported to keep doing more of that. This is just totally what I'm interested in pursuing, and that's how I got here in a nutshell.
That's rad. You know, I really like the way that you guys also said it's gamified giving, because that's so reflective of our generation. We grew up playing video games. The traditional structures are no longer working anymore. And so now we're taking a lot of these traditional structures and we're taking what we grew up with and applying it and laying that framework on top of the old structures. And the old structure was centralized, it's top down. I believe in one of the articles, I think it was you, Griff, that mentioned when you give, you drop a quarter in that big yellow thing in the mall and you watch it go around and around and around. And as a kid, it's amazing, but then you don't know where it goes, and that's it. So how does Giveth keep that going, and how does it change that old way?
So right now at launch, it doesn't, right? And this is the challenge. So the article that you're mentioning actually is the augmented bonding curve article for the Common Stack, and it's talking about the TEC. And this is kind of where Giveth and the Common Stack really, they're basically the same organization. Like Lauren and I both work with the TEC a lot, and it's the Common Stack kind of spun out of Giveth because the Common Stack is going at it directly. And where the Common Stack is saying, hey, we would like to, make it so that you can create an economy that rewards you for doing good work. Like, why should you have to just donate and just watch the money burn? Why, when someone who wants to start like a pizza shop, they can invest in a business and make money feeding people, and they're doing good work too, but they have a business model that can match it, and they can get investors, and they can get capital, and they can pay people fair wages, for doing good work. But if you're doing good work for society at large, then you're screwed. There's no customers, so you can't have a business model. And we say, okay, yeah, you can't have a business model, but you can have an economic model. And that's where things get interesting, right? Because you can create a token, and instead of relying on donations, those donors can become investors. And instead of the volunteers just being like not paid in anything, now you can actually make your volunteers shareholders. And this is the gamified charity that you're talking about, right? Where it's like, let's create a game, but the points are transferable, and we'll call them tokens. And you score points for doing this, you score points for doing that, you score points for doing this. And the Common Stack is going straight at it, right? The Common Stack is saying, hey, there's a lot of details that need to be addressed. That's why the augmented bonding curve is there. People don't, how will the token have value and these sorts of things, and that the augmented bonding curve addresses. And the Common Stack is going straight at it, but because it's so technical and Web3 oriented, it's like only for the TEC, only for the nerds of the nerds, the token engineers that are so deep down the rabbit hole. They're like, oh yeah, bonding curve conviction voting. Yeah, let's design it ourselves, right? But Giveth is going the other approach. We're starting where nonprofits are. So Common Stack go into the nerds of the nerds. Let's battle test this idea. Let's create games where people score points by doing good work for the world. And then they can use those points like money.
Oh, yeah.
Giveth is going the other direction. It's like, okay, let's go meet the nonprofits where they are. They know how to use GoFundMe, you know? Okay, how about this? Log into Giveth with Google and, you know, you'll get an Ethereum address and then just do your normal thing with GoFundMe and then you'll be donated crypto instead, right? And then we have a roadmap that will take these nonprofits on an adventure through the Web3 space, right? But the next step is, hey, you raised $1,000 on Giveth. Did you know Google can steal your money? Maybe you should, like, you know, get a MetaMask and learn. Here's some tools to learn about MetaMask, right? And so we can meet the nonprofits where they are and work them up to the point where they can have an economy, but it's going to take, you know, it's going to be a process.
That's an amazing bridge to get non-crypto people into crypto, you know, to start off as a donation and charity. I guess you guys have also reframed the word charity too to a public good. Am I correct?
I mean, the Ethereum space has kind of pushed this idea of public goods, and it is the more technical term, honestly.
Is it? Okay. All right. Yeah. That's another thing I've kind of had to reframe my mind to, is public goods and commons and things like that, and try to get up in touch with all these new definitions, you know. But it's pretty amazing. It's a great entryway to teach them, because you said that they can immediately just go in through their Google or something like that in order to donate initially, until they are ready to maybe take on getting a MetaMask wallet and stuff like that. It's kind of a gradual process.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it, Lauren?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's especially for nonprofits or projects who want to get a project on Giveth. So it's like, you can create a wallet by logging. This is how Taurus works. You select if you want to log in with Twitter or Google or whatever, and then you select your login method. It just looks like a Web 2 thing. And then you get a Taurus wallet address generated for you. And then so when people are donating to your project, they're going into this Taurus, which you can access with the same Google or Twitter or whatever it is. So then once the project has enough funds, then they want to switch over to the MetaMask. But we can, like, you can donate from a Taurus wallet and Giveth, or you can donate from a MetaMask. And the way that we're bringing donors more into the whole, like, heady token engineering space of things is like with givebacks. And I think givebacks is a super cool concept. This is basically when donors donate to verified projects on Giveth, they get give tokens back. And then those give tokens are governance tokens in the Give Garden. So it's like the Give Garden is it was created by OneHive, the Gardens framework. It's like a conviction voting DAO, and then everyone who's holding the token can vote on proposals that are requesting funding from the DAO. So it's like when people donate to projects, they get give tokens back, and then they can vote on proposals that are requesting funding for different projects. So this way, our donors become stakeholders, our donors become shareholders, and our donors get to decide where the funds from Giveth, what the Give token is funding, and what projects are coming out of the Giveth ecosystem.
Okay, so when they donate, they get in return a Give token back that they can use to put into the Give Garden. And I mean, so what about speculation and stuff like that?
Well, you can still speculate on the Give token, and actually we have also we also have rewards. Griff and I are really close. I'm like hearing myself talk through it. He's just over there. But yeah, we actually have liquidity mining opportunities as well in the Give farm. So like donating and participating in the Give Garden isn't the only thing that you can do with the Give token. It's an ERC20 token, and it was created on mainnet and bridged to XDAI, and then we did our initial distribution with the airdrop, the Give drop on XDAI. So the Give token already has a circulating supply, and is just like any other ERC20 token, and you can. Yeah, nice. Yeah, you can go into the Give farm and you can provide liquidity on HoneySwap, on SushiSwap, on Balancer, and on Uniswap. We have opportunities on mainnet and on XDAI, and then you can stake, and then you can earn more Give tokens. And so it also has an opportunity just for gaining a yield, but you can also vote with it in the Give Garden. And another really cool thing is when you when you wrap your tokens to use in the gift garden, you're also earning a yield. Like you're earning a percentage, and it's actually the same as staking. If you're just staking your tokens on XDAI, you're earning the same yield as you would if you were wrapping your tokens to vote in the gift garden. So donors can donate in any token that they want to whatever verified project that they like, and then they get give tokens back, and then they could stake them and earn a yield and do nothing, or they could stake them and earn a yield and vote in the give garden to allocate funds to proposals, or they could donate it to other projects. Like there's all kinds of different applications that you can use already right now with the give economy. Like what we're launching with is like already all of these things.
This is really cool because like people are already donating anyway, and then they get back these give tokens, and then it gives them a chance to play with DeFi and kind of get used to the levers and pulleys in a way without having to risk something that they wouldn't have been donating.
Yeah. And really, you know, this is one of Giveth's main goal is to sort of replace the 501c3 industry, or not replace, but complement like this tax deduction concept, right? Where, you know, you donate to a project, and if they jump through a bunch of bureaucracy in the same jurisdiction that you pay taxes in, then you get a discount on your taxes. That is really like bureaucratic and challenging to process, and we can make it so much easier with crypto, right? First off, the projects on Giveth don't have to be legal entities. They don't have to be located in a jurisdiction that you're paying taxes in, right? They can be anywhere in the world. It could just be some cool guy in Venezuela building water filters who's active on social media, showing, look, I'm building these water filters, and giving them away to people. They can you can earn givebacks by donating to that guy who's giving clean water to the people. And that's the super cool thing, that we can use borderless, frictionless, you know, blockchain technology to actually support nonprofits all around the world. And people can donate and get give tokens, and then they actually end up owning the community. They end up owning the platform that they're donating in. So imagine if GoFundMe, every time you donated, you got shares in GoFundMe, and you had control over GoFundMe's, you know, processes, right? This is kind of what Giveth has created with givebacks, while also, you know, subsidizing donations on the platform.
Okay, so that's what you meant by the donor. The donor becomes a shareholder.
Yeah. So in the TEC and with GERBs, when you get there, then the donors in a project will become a shareholder of that project. Here we're saying, hey, this donation platform is the project, and anyone who donates, whether it's to us or to anyone else, we want to give you shares they're not shares, but they're governance tokens that you know, have no economic value, as Kevin Owaki always says, but they do provide value in deciding how you know what things will work. And in the end, we created these farms so that there will be liquidity in the market, so that when we're giving out givebacks, there's a place for them to go. You know,
right on.
And that's why we need the farm to support givebacks. And we have the garden to also support givebacks, and then we have the stream to allow us to grow at a safe rate. So there's all these pieces that we launched with are very critical for our initialization, and then we have a lot of cool things in the works.
Yeah, there seems to be 5 key components. There's the give drop, the give farm, the give garden, the give backs, and the give stream. It seems to be like the 5 pillars of the Giveth economy, right? All right, man. Okay, I'll take it.
Good job.
My little victory right there. I'm going to invite Steve, the DAO of Steve, up here, and he has a question for you. All right, let me see here.
Hey folks, Steve. I really love. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. I really love what you're doing, and having been for many years board member of nonprofits, you know, trying to help do development, everything that needs to happen to keep things moving. one of the big things I know when it comes to giving is like knowing where your money goes. So one of the things that I was thinking of in terms of crypto and wondering where Giveth is with this is being able to track like maybe direct donations, especially for like immediate causes like emergency relief. Like if I could give my tokens and I could see that going into the wallet of somebody who's getting on a plane, and I could see the receipts, like here's the plane ticket, here's the bottles of water they bought, here's like the tents they schlepped to Haiti or wherever it was. I think that would be incredibly powerful. So I'm just wondering if you have that built in or what the plans are.
Yeah, actually, that's where Giveth really started. We have this project called Giveth Trace, and Giveth Trace was built in 2018, and it is using really old scaling technology. We actually bridged to Rinkeby to run Giveth Trace because there were no side chains at the time. And we did this whole Scaling Now conference and all these things. But now we have Giveth Trace, and it's live on mainnet. And we launched it well before we launched the other thing. And it's really cool because that your donation is completely traceable. And the cool thing on Trace is that you could actually donate to a community. And then when that community might have a focus, kind of like a cause, it might be like, hey, we want to support, animal charities. And then you actually end up with control of your donation. We created this thing called liquid pledging, where it's almost like liquid democracy, where but with money, so that when someone sends your donation to a specific animal charity, let's say it goes to, animal shelter, you could actually veto it. You'd be like, oh no, I'm more of a PETA animal person. I don't like that animal shelter's spade and neuter, so I'm going to veto that donation. And you can actually stop it from going there. You have 3 days to
I want
stop.
my tokens going to paint.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
fur coats.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So then you can interact with the person who's managing. Go to the Discord and be like, hey, please make sure my donation goes to more animal activism. And so then it's like, okay, cool. And so Giveth Trace is there. Problem is, of course, mainnet got so expensive that even donating in mainnet is costing. It's just a basic DAI transaction costs like $10. So we removed. We have this cool smart contract system that's very minimal. But in the end, to make donations more affordable, we created Giveth.io, which removes the traceability layer, which is too bad. Because on Giveth Trace, when you donate to a community, then they can go. That money can go to campaigns. It can't be taken straight out. And then for the campaign to actually get money out, they have to say explicitly what they're using it for. And so this is like this traceability feature that we will hopefully port over to other side chains to make it a lot more accessible for normal users that aren't donating $100,000. Like if you're donating thousands of dollars, Giveth Trace is great, but just like everything else on mainnet, it only works if you're a whale.
Right. And I think it's really important to provide, first and foremost, the transparency of what is the organization doing with the funds. So even if that's at an aggregate level, it's really valuable because then you can see like, oh, 80% of my funds are going to marketing and raising more funds, which is, too often the norm. So would be really great to provide increased visibility into the organizations that are being funded. And then, for the organizations, you're always a little bit hamstrung. Getting into the weeds can be hamstrung with all the restricted funds that come in, and doing that balancing act when you need to operate, and it helps the organization be able to be more fluid. So it sounds like great stuff. And then a shameless plug. Are you both planning on being in Denver for ETH Denver, and will you come speak at DAO Denver in the couple days before ETH Denver?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. What are you thinking, Lauren?
Yeah, I think I'll be there too.
Awesome,
put you on the spot or anything.
We were talking about it yesterday.
We'll put you on the speaker list and follow up offline.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I went on there earlier this morning and I scrolled through a bunch. I mean, you guys have a ton of different entities that you can give to on there, and I see that you've incorporated Giving Block in there too now, and that's pretty rad. And so I just kept on scrolling and kept on scrolling. So I eventually was like, I want to search for something in the Austin area because that's where I am. And I found like a handful of organizations in the Austin area, and I found one that I was like, oh, cool. So I gave, and it was super easy. You know, I disconnected my Ethereum wallet, but it also allowed me to do it by my credit card, and that would have been super simple too. I did it even on mainnet, and I don't know, gas seems to be fairly low, so it wasn't too terrible. But I saw on there the check marks that said verified. So tell me a little bit about that verification process.
Yeah, I would love to. So the verification process is basically our way of verifying to the givers that the projects are who they say they are and that the funds are doing what they say that the funds are doing. So we have right now a sort of centralized process for project verification where when a project is adding itself freshly to the DApp, they have to fill out a type form to apply to be verified, and they basically just answer questions. They have to tweet or share on social media a link to their project so that we know that they're in control of that Twitter. And then they need to say where the funds are going. They need to, if they're a registered 501c3 or a nonprofit registered by some government organization, we ask for this documentation as well. And then so once we review all of this, we verify that the project are who they say they are, etc. Then we give them the verified label. And so this way that donors know that that those projects have been vetted and they're trusted and reviewed. And then these are the ones that are part of the givebacks program. So we want to make sure that givebacks aren't being recirculated, that people aren't donating to themselves and then getting givebacks, et cetera, et cetera. So verification is kind of like a certification of trust for the donors and also for the DApp and for the givebacks program, ensuring that it's like we want to be rewarding the people who are giving to things that they care about. So that's what that little like verification marker means. And the integration with the Giving Block was a super, super cool thing. We're really, really grateful to the Giving Block for this integration. The Giving Block also has, it's a similar kind of situation where you can donate in crypto to 501c3. I think they're all registered nonprofits in the United States. This is like a requirement to be a project on the Giving Block. And so the projects on the Giving Block are like super vetted. Like the Giving Block like deals with the nonprofit and helps bring them onto the space. And then when you donate to projects on the Giving Block, they only accept tokens that are listed on Gemini, and then they use Gemini as this like conversion from crypto to fiat, and so the project is able to withdraw those funds. So it's like the Giving Block does a lot of work to support the nonprofits to start accepting crypto and then turning that crypto into fiat. So we did this integration with the Giving Block and basically got all of their projects onto Giveth. So now you can donate on Giveth to Giving Block projects, and then also they're pre-verified, they're pre-vetted, so vetified, they're pre-vetified.
Pre-vetified.
So when you donate, you can get give backs for donating to the Giving Block projects, but you can there's still a limit to the donation tokens, because again, it's only tokens that are listed on Gemini that you can donate to Giving Block projects, because those are the only ones that they're accepting right now. Yeah, and in the future, like it's really cool. We want to encourage projects to become like to get more integrated in crypto too. So we've already had a couple of projects reach out to us from the Giving Block who are like, hey, I'd like to take ownership over my project on Giveth. And so we're talking with those projects and like how we can empower them to be accepting more different tokens and then like bring them more onto our platform. So it's really cool. Like also again, this bridge, like the Giving Block is doing a great job of reaching out to people who don't really know anything about crypto and then getting them into crypto in like one of these first stages. And then they're on Giveth and they're like, hey, what is Giveth? I'm getting donations from this. And then they're like, how can I get even more into this? And then maybe they want to get a MetaMask and they maybe want to start accepting donations in other cryptocurrencies. And then it's like the wheel starts spinning. It's like the slippery slope. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, then they start falling into crypto and DeFi. Next thing you know, they're a degen, aping into everything.
Aping into the Give farm, man.
Yeah. So when give Gemini?
Working on it. Hopefully, if you want any, if we actually made it so that if you try to donate Give on Giving Block projects, a tweet pops up. It's like, hey, Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, add us to Gemini, because
Nice.
but we are in conversations with Gemini, and they have very clear requirements, and we just can't be on at launch. You know, we have to
Mm.
have launched and have some market traction before they'll let us on.
Oh yeah. Big exchanges like that. I mean, it's really difficult to to jump on in there. So I wanted to switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit more about this give stream. It seems really cool. So when you give, you give tokens back, and get kind of like a vesting process or some kind of UBI. Or can you fill me more on this?
Yeah. So the give stream, it's this great concept that we're having a lot of fun with actually lately. Basically, whenever you participate in the give economy, whether you're giving to projects and getting give backs, or you're providing liquidity, staking, and getting rewards in the give farm, you get some rewards that are claimable immediately and you can just harvest and directly into your wallet, and then some part of your rewards are increasing your give stream flow rate. So the give stream for everybody flows for 5 years. It flows until December 23rd. So you have a flow rate. And if you go to give.giveth.io/givestream, you can see what your give stream flow rate is. And you can increase your flow rate by participating in other things. So it's like whenever you're like on the give backs page, it shows you like a little and added to your give stream thing at the bottom. It'll show you an amount and then added to your give stream amount. This is like the amount that your give stream is increasing by. And your give stream can never go down. It can only go up. So it's like you're going to get those tokens every week. If you don't participate anymore, or if you keep participating, you can, oh, hi Mitch. If you keep participating, then you can increase the give stream. So it's basically the give stream we created because at launch, like the give economy is starting out relatively small. We had the give drop 17% of our total supply. But as the give economy expands, more tokens become liquid, more tokens are available to be used everywhere. And so we wanted to have a continuous stream as well to the people who are participating and supporting the give economy, so that over time they're getting more and more tokens. So it's like as more tokens become available across the entire Giveth ecosystem or give economy ecosystem, then our supporters, the people who provide liquidity, the people who give to projects, the people who are part of the initial like setting up of Giveth, they're getting a continuous flow of give.
Right on. So just by virtue of giving, you're automatically entered into the give stream for how long? I mean,
5 years. Yeah, and just to add to this, so it's kind of like we were talking about a video game, right, where you get points. Well, with Giveth, you get the points, right? But then you also get this residual income. You get this stream that is like a UBI for 5 years.
Oh,
so
wow.
if you do anything for Giveth right now, you'll get both some tokens and this UBI stream, which is super cool because it's a way for us, people kind of wane and it's an intention economy. And maybe you are like there's a lot of people who have donated to Giveth in the last a long period of time over the last 5 years that we've existed. They got the give drop, right? But they with that give drop, they also got a stream. So if they set up their Uni V3 pool wrong and they lose all their give tokens when they get pumped on, right? When the give token price goes up to $1, which it did at launch. Like if you set up a Uni V3 pool when give tokens were 20 cents, and you might have lost all of your give tokens and been effectively lost all your power in the community just because you were trying to support us. And so, but now we make sure that you have this stream and you're still, you're going to be a contributor for the next 5 years, and we can build on top of this trusted base in the give drop, and we can build on top of the contributors who have contributed early and know that they're going to be with us for the next 5 years.
Right on. Okay. So also by virtue of holding the give token, you get governance rights, right? So you are part of the DAO. I mean, since we're DAOists, we should probably talk some about the DAO aspect of Giveth and
definitely
what voting means, how the voting works, conviction voting, Taoist voting, right? Is that the other one?
DAO voting.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that.
So conviction voting is something actually Giveth pushed. The first time conviction voting was ever uttered in public was on the Giveth blog. We wrote and we designed conviction voting with the help of block science and then Common Stack spun out of Giveth and kind of took the conviction voting forward with the common stack, but it's all just, these are brand names and the same people are working on all these things, you know. But so then the common stack is a trail, blazed the trail with conviction voting through OneHive, and OneHive actually implemented conviction voting thanks to Sem and the crew there. So the conviction voting is a really cool voting structure that's made with decentralization in mind. You know, we're so used to voting being yes, no, 50%, you know, time deadlines. And with conviction voting, it's more designed for normal people doing normal things that are just kind of flowing in and out of a community. So, and there's no time. There's no like, oh, hey, I made a proposal. It passes or it fails in 2 weeks. No, actually, it sits up there as long as you want it to sit up there. And people, when they vote, there's only yes voting. And when you're voting, at first, your voting power is 0. So you're like, hey, I really like this idea of making a Giveth widget on every nonprofit website. And we want to make it really easy, have like a little donation widget for Giveth on nonprofits' websites.
Okay.
This is a cool project. There's a dev team that wants to do it. They want, 10,000 give to make this a reality. And they put the proposal up there. And people could then vote yes on it. They can vote, they can't vote no, but they can say, like, let's say that it was a malicious proposal, like the proposal is, there's another proposal B, that's just like, hey, I want to steal money from the DAO. Right? you could actually block that proposal, and OneHive has this really cool system called Celeste, which is a decentralized court, kind of like Claros, where you can challenge proposals that don't meet the covenant, the standard that the DAO set forth. So we have this covenant that says like these are the kind of proposals we're looking to do. This is our mission. We're trying to, build the future of giving. And if your proposal doesn't have anything to do with that, then you can lose your proposal deposit, right?
Wow.
And
you guys are using some pretty innovative DAO tooling in there to get
yeah.
things done.
But really it's super easy, because you don't have to you don't have to vote on every vote. You just come through and you're like, I like that project, I like that project, I like that project. I'll throw some of my tokens there. It's, instead of voting, it's almost more like donating. It's like going through the list of projects and saying, I like these projects, I'll throw some of my tokens there, except it doesn't cost you any money. You're just allocating voting power, and your voting power grows over time. So it's more of a signal aggregation, where it's like every individual person with tokens puts their tokens where they want it, and then you can see which ones are going to pass first. And proposals that ask for less money need less voting power than proposals that ask for more money, and this kind of setup. So it's really designed for voting with tokens in a blockchain, as opposed to trying to take out, oh, this is what people were doing before there was like the internet. Let's just 51% voting, yes, no, time-based voting. This is a lot more innovation, and it's been around for years actually. So it's just not heavily used.
Yeah, since 2016 with the Mini-Me token, right? Way back in
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Giveth created the Mini-Me token so we could have these more DAO experiments, these more DAO-focused experiments.
Yeah, the Mini-Me token, I was kind of fascinated with it, that it kind of started this whole idea of token voting, right?
Yeah, well, the Mini-Me token was designed because of the DAO. We learned a lot about token voting and the ways to make it easier and harder. And with Mini-Me, the reason it's called Mini-Me is because it's a clonable token. And so you can, instead of actually using, exactly, right? Instead of actually using your token to vote, every time a vote is created, in the backend, it creates another token that is used for the vote. So you could go and sell your tokens, you can go buy more tokens. It doesn't matter, because when the vote was created, you don't even know it, but you have this other token in your wallet that you're using to vote. And in that way, we can it makes it so that you don't have to lock your tokens when you vote, which was a problem with the DAO. And it also solves lots of other interesting problems that we thought were cool.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, let me see if there's any questions here in the voice chat. All right.
I know one thing. Just like make sure we have time to get into some of our future plans.
Yes, that's what I wanted to make sure. Yeah, so I guess it is a good time now to ask you about the future roadmap, because I know you guys have a lot of stuff in store. So
yeah, so I'll talk about. Well, actually, Lauren, would you be interested in talking about like the quadratic funding and GiveFi?
Sure, I can talk about it. So, yeah, okay, we have like 4 kind of like main roadmap projects. They're in the blog post. If you wanted to just get like a really quick summary, check out our launch article blog post. But so, well, okay, you want me to talk about GiveFi and quadratic funding? Cool. Okay, I'll talk about. Okay, so right now with like the donations on Giveth, donations are going directly to the project. But what we want to implement is a matching program similar to Gitcoin does with the matching pools, but we'll have causes. So we'll call them causes, and causes will be like categories like environmental regeneration or indigenous rights or like larger overarching categories that donors can donate to. And then similar like with quadratic funding, depending on who's donating to what projects, then the funds from the matching pool will get distributed to those projects. So it's like the projects will be under categories, and then those causes will be kind of like the matching pool funds for the projects that are in those categories. And then when donors donate to projects underneath that cause category, then depending on which ones are donated to the most, or which favored by the community the most, then they get part of the cause matching funds pool. So this is the same as like Gitcoin's quadratic matching. And we've been talking to Kevin Owaki, and we want to be creating more of a partnership there to start integrating that. And then we're also planning on incorporating GiveFi, and GiveFi is like it's like Give finance. It's like it's using latent capital that's like sitting in smart contracts on the DApp to generate interest and then create more funds for the Give Garden. So when there's just funds that are just being held, like in these pools, they can be generating an interest, and then that's used to buy the Give tokens on the open market, and then those Give tokens are sent to the Give Garden to then be distributed using conviction voting to projects that the community likes.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I started to get lost at latent capital. Where does this money get stalled? Like, what does this process look like? How does stuff get like latent and just slowed down in a sludge?
Well, I'm thinking like in the cause pools. Griff, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, there's lots of places where it sits, right? So there's the cause pools when people donate to causes and it hasn't been distributed to people yet. Projects yet. And then there's also just like, okay, you donate to a project. Does the project take the money out 2 seconds later? No. You know, the project might let it sit. Maybe they, come back in a month and they pull that money out. That money's just sitting there. And in crypto, there's so many opportunities to be earning a yield. So we're hoping to find an integration partner like Aave to where we can have a very safe, like, we're not like going to go pickle finance or something crazy or whatever crazy,
100,000 APY.
Yeah, we'll stay away from the the DeFi food groups and like stay focused on like more of the like safe compound Aave.
Yeah,
but earning 4 or 5% on the latent capital that is just sitting there in our system. And then we use that to actually buy back the Give token and send it to the Give Garden so that we can have more sustainable DAO governance and payments,
right on.
And yeah. And along with the GiveFi and give matching, which some of these names we'll work on. We'll see. But Gervs are definitely, that's what I want to get into is Gervs. So the predecessor to Gervs, wait for, you'll have to wait for what Gervs are. But the predecessor to Gervs is Give Curation. So we want to replace the government, or at least create an alternative solution for curating nonprofits, the service that governments usually provide. So we would like to do that through our token governance. This is generally considered a TCR, a token curated registry, but it doesn't, blah, blah, blah. These are all words and terms in the cryptosphere. But in the end, we just want to make it so that people who have Give tokens can lock their Give tokens to prove that they care about the future of Giveth, and show that they have like skin in the game when they're picking the nonprofits that are going to get givebacks. And
Okay.
in this way, so the people who lock their Give tokens, they'll also be earning a yield for curating, right? We reward people who do work. This is a video game, and if you're doing good work, you're rewarded, right? You're earning points.
Mhm.
So people who lock their tokens can then go to give it, and when they're donating, they could also just be like, actually, I also think this project deserves more give backs than others. And
Okay.
and so the give curation will allow give token holders to decide who gets give backs, what donors to the projects, which donors deserve more give backs than others. And we'll start off small with like just a small variant, like basically every project gets the same, but the projects with a lot of give tokens staked behind them will get a little bit more than others. But then we hope to scale that to the point where when there's that we can actually take out the centralized project verification process and actually just rely on give token governance. But this will take time. We progressive decentralization is a thing, and we need to build the culture and the community around picking good projects that are making the world a better place. And we're going to learn a lot about how to do that before we pull out the project verification piece.
Nice. Yeah.
But what that allows, though, is super cool, because now when a project has donations, right, they know they're on Giveth, they know their donor just got give tokens, and so now they can say they can start talking to their donor with a different frame of mind. They can, instead of always begging for money, begging for sacrifice from the donors, they can say, hey, donors, you just got these give tokens, right? If you stake them behind me, you'll earn a yield. You win, we win, everybody wins, right?
Nice.
And that's the frame of mind that we need to get into the nonprofits before they can have their own economy. They have to understand that win-win solutions can work for their success. So when they start staking tokens behind the project, if they get a lot of tokens, this is where the Griff comes in, right? Once they have, let's say, $100,000 worth of tokens, which right now is 100,000 tokens, which is just amazing. So once they have 100,000 give tokens behind them, we could actually lock those give tokens into a bonding curve and create a project token for the project. So what was the Austin project that you ended up donating to?
It was Austin Life.
Austin Life. So if Austin Life could have their own token that would have as the base currency in its bonding curve would be give tokens, so that every time that someone donates to Austin Life, then the give backs would actually go into the bonding curve. And when give tokens go into the bonding curve, they actually create more project tokens, to create Austin Life tokens, and those Austin Life tokens would go to the donor. So now the donor has this token that actually shows that they have they're part of the Austin Life DAO effectively, right? And what's super cool with the bonding curve is there's this idea of a reserve ratio. The bonding curves are under collateralized. That means that the market cap of the token can be more than the actual collateral that's in the bonding curve. So when that bonding curve was created, the stakers of give tokens, let's say that the reserve ratio is 25%. When the Griff ratio is 25%, and so that would mean that $400,000 worth of tokens, Austin Life tokens, are actually created off of the $100,000 worth of tokens. And so now let's give half of that to Austin Life, and the other half can go to the people who are actually staking those give tokens. And those initial tokens have to be locked so that there's not a run on the bank, right? Because it's under collateralized. And then Austin Life has some time to actually create their own DAO and create value for their token, and say, like, actually contributing to Austin Life is something that you can invest in. You don't have to donate. You can actually buy into the Austin Life DAO with give tokens. And now there's like a way that you can become an investor in Austin Life. And all the volunteers got tokens. They're shareholders, right?
Mhm.
And we'll have to work with the nonprofits to get a reward system up. We're working with the TEC on the reward system research, and make sure that they can allocate, reputation to people who contribute labor, who have expertise, and contribute capital, right? Those are the three facets that you have to figure out how to reward when you're building a reward system. And we
Mhm.
can help nonprofits get there as they succeed in our platform. And that would probably also be a requirement before they get a GIRV, that they kind of pass some kind of like, how are you going to distribute these tokens to your community, and these things. But the dream is that the GIRVs only work, and bonding curves in general work well in a low liquidity environment. But if
Mhm.
Austin Life is killing it, and they have a lot of positive feedback, and their market cap grows, and they should actually shut off their GIRV. And in this case,
Huh.
maybe we haven't decided, but I think the give tokens would just be burnt, and they would just be lost. But the project tokens still exist. They would
Yeah.
shut off their bonding curve, and now they would just have their own token, just like Giveth has its own token, Gitcoin has its own token, ENS has its own token, the Tornado Cash has its own token, Austin Life has their own token, and that you can invest in the public goods that they're providing.
So it's a launch pad, kind of. Yeah,
That's the dream.
that's kind of what token engineering, the Commons stack is doing, right? They're giving people the kit to be able to do that. That's
Yep.
kind of what I had to wrap my head around as what the Commons stack was. So.
That's exactly it. But so the kit is like tuned to token engineering type people, like crypto people.
Yeah.
And we're taking that research that the Common Stack is doing. I mean, I founded the Common Stack too. So it's like the same people are doing Giveth and the Common Stack. But the Common Stack is focused more on like applied research of this technology. And Giveth is going to apply it and make a platform so that nonprofits can build towards the place that token engineers are right now.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is kind of coming into picture for me. It's all coming together. It's a total symbiotic relationship between Giving Block, even Token Engineering Commons and Commons Stack. They're all just little Legos. Seems composable. And I guess we're coming up on time, but I wanted to see if there were any last minute questions or any last minute points and the things that you wanted to bring up. No?
I was thinking, well, I wanted to, when Griff was talking about the GIRs, it's like everything that we're launching the Give economy with right now, like givebacks and givebacks. People donate, they get give tokens. Then they can learn about conviction voting by playing in the garden and, starting to stake on proposals. They start to understand how DAOs work. They start to understand how this like decentralized governance structure works by just becoming a donor, like liking a cause and sending some funds to it. And then I think it's like really this just like, these like snippets that like start to draw people into this like space that is just like huge, super rich, full of technology. And so it's like everything that we're launching the Give economy with right now is also kind of like bringing people and teaching them and educating them on how to get more involved and how to get deeper into the Web3 space. So like GIRVs is like the long-term mission, and it's like bringing in all these like Common Stack token engineering elements and all of these things that like or sister organizations are developing and building, but like everything that we have right now is also like bringing people into it. So I think like getting involved in the Give economy now and starting to play with the Give farm, donating and just seeing some of your give backs, starting to figure out the Give stream and just like starting to wrap your head around all these pieces, it like really starts to bring things together. So I think like anybody who's listening to this podcast right now, I would just like really encourage them to like, I mean, my favorite way to get Give tokens is by donating to a verified project. Just donate to a verified project, then you'll have Give tokens, and then go nuts, like explore everything that we have on give.giveth.io. And then it's like all of these things, even if they sound crazy complicated right now, will start to come together in little pieces. And this is really like the mission that I think we're all working together to bring to fruition.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's basically you're jumping into the game of good works, it's like play in the game. I mean, those have been common themes throughout this interview. And games are fun, and so giving can be fun, and giving can have some ownership, and and you can don't be afraid to get a reward for giving, right? Everybody's saying, like, oh, I can't, I just got to give it and self-sacrifice, but no, you can get when you give too, and don't be ashamed of it, right?
Exactly. I mean, I think the donation space in many ways is just so broken. It's a broken incentive system. It's like, why should you have to sacrifice to create value for society? That framing is broken. You shouldn't have to sacrifice to create value for society. You should be rewarded. You should be able to take a risk and actually be rewarded if you succeed in creating value for society. That's how. That's why we can coordinate around creating cell phones and creating computers and creating all these complicated technology, because there's a underlying it. There's a very simple, alignment of incentives for people who succeed. And we don't have that in our public goods space. If we want to solve the issues that are destroying society today, we need to start at the base, at the problems with the system itself that that we need to use to create value for ourselves. So if we can align incentives around creating value for society, we can solve so many issues. And Giveth, Common Stack, Gitcoin, Bright ID, there's so many projects that are doing this, and we're just happy to join the club with a token.
Yeah. I mean, there should be joy in giving, not suffering in giving. So, and you guys are bringing that joy through all the mechanics. So, I really appreciate you guys coming on. This has been an amazing interview for me. You guys have put a lot of the pieces together. How can we find you?
Oh, you can find us. Well, our Twitter is @giveth.io, and you can also find us by joining our Discord, discord.giveth.io. You can check out our website, giveth.io. You can check out our forum.giveth.io. You start to sense the pattern. And if you wanted to explore the give economy, everything is at give.giveth.io. So, I mean, really, if you just search giveth.io, you'll find me everywhere. You'll find us everywhere.
Right on. All right. Griff, anything?
No, thank you so much for having us, Eureka John, and thanks for you did an overview of Giveth before we had a token. So thank you so much for being a true believer, man.
Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
And we'll follow up on this DAO Denver. So don't forget if you're in Denver to go see these people here at DAO Denver. All right. Thank you again.
Thanks, you. John.